Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to be working on two planters. In fact, they are sitting right behind me, these two iron urns that have sedum in them. We're going to be moving the sedum out into the garden and we're going to be planting them up with some really fun fall plants that we've got here. When we're done with that, we're going to go harvest our corn, which is a really fun and special corn this year because it's Bethany's ornamental corn mix. So Bethany has been growing it for the past 10 years. She saves seed from it every year and just regrows it the next year, and she gave me a big baggie full of it this year. And I thought it would be really fun to try growing to see how it did for us, and it just has performed beautifully. Got so tall, some of it collapsed after a windstorm, but it's just beautiful. We're going to be using some of the stalks for fall decorating, and then I want to show you what the ears look like. I did harvest a couple of test ears the other day because I've been kind of peeling the outer, what are they called, husks away to see what color we had inside, and they were white for most of the season, and I thought, oh man, are these going to produce some color? And boy, have they ever. They're so beautiful. But this is our first project, so here's the deal. 2 years ago, I planted some sedum in these containers for a fall arrangement actually, and they have performed just so amazingly well. I mean, you can see that these I have put on blooms and they're in a lot of shade. They get shade until the very end of the day. In fact, if we look this way, you can see that this one actually gets a little bit more, and this one pretty much gets none at this point because of this maple tree. It might get a little filtered sun, but not enough to keep a sedum happy. So this is the year where they finally, they did great for most of the season, and then they just started to flop after a while because they just were not getting enough sunlight to keep them strong. So what I did is I came in here and I tried to tie them up like this, which basically just made them one big heavy weight in the pot. Instead of being individual branches, they're now like kind of one piece, which makes it even heavier. So last night we had a huge windstorm and this whole bunch just fell over. Oh, are we gonna get more wind? It blew and blew and blew last night. I mean, hard. And it was just, a mess this morning. But once we pop these out, I've got some lemon cypress that I picked up last winter. They've been in the greenhouse this whole time, so I think they're gonna be very happy to get out of their containers. We'll pop those in, and then we're just gonna surround it with a mix of fun stuff. I've got some red pansies, which this is the Delta Classic Pure Red right here. And then we've got more of the purples, which we did in the pot in front of the chicken coop. We've got some white kale. It'll develop more of a white color as it ages. We've also got lemon coral sedum. I'm not sure, what we'll end up with in these containers, but a mix of this. And one quick update right here. Do you remember when we planted these caladiums? This is the 2025, or one of the 2025 National Recipes of the Year. I think they're calling it Strawberry Basket. And I can't remember all the names. Like this one I think is White Wonder. I think this one's Vava Violet. I cannot remember the name of this one. But they did so great. I planted them as like little bulbs, and they sat for a while. You can tell they're, in a nice shady spot. We have them on a drip system, but they just kind of exploded, and I've really, really enjoyed this look. And I actually thought, maybe we could, next year, dedicate a space just to plant the bulbs right in the ground. Wouldn't that be beautiful right here? Also right in here, along this edge, I had planted begonias, and it was just too much water for them, and most of them perished. Let's see, I think I've got like 3 left. Yeah, 3. And they're not like super vibrant or huge or anything like that. Anyway, I'm just so pleased with that arrangement right there of caladiums. Okay, so we're gonna dig the sedum out. I've got my shovel here. We're gonna pop some fresh soil in the urns, and we're just gonna plant them up. Let's do it. Oh, these might just pop right out. Let's try. Oh, that's easy. Way easier than digging them out. Nice. Check out the size of this drain hole. It's massive. You can imagine the amount of soil that you would lose through the bottom. So what I normally do is take just an old rag and put it over the drain hole because it will still allow water to release, but it'll keep the soil up in the container. Like that. I'd previously done the same thing with these pots, but eventually they kind of rot out and you have to replace them. There we go. These are surprisingly not root bound. I thought they were going to be so root bound because we had a hard time keeping these wet enough to be happy in the greenhouse. So I'm happy with that. Let's position it the right way, put it right in the center. We can see these pots from all the way around, so they got to be pretty all the way around, all sides. There we go. A little more soil. It's too much of the same color, isn't it? Yeah, I think purple kale is better in this situation. And there we have it. Very simple, clean, low maintenance, and fresh. I'm really happy with them. Hey, Russell. Hey, kitty. Hey. So I used just the one lemon cypress, which these are a little bit muted in color. I'm wondering if they're going to get a little bit more chartreuse now that they're out of the greenhouse. We'll see what happens. And then I swapped the white kale out for the Nagoya red, because I felt like these contrasted each other a little bit more. And I know that this is gonna have more white in it eventually, but it wasn't different enough from the cypress. I feel like that little bit of purple is nice. And then one red and one purple pansy between each one of the kale. And the beauty and thought behind this combination of color, when I ordered them, I decided to not go like really strong on the autumn range of colors. I wanted to go with kind of some royal colors like the royal purple and pure red. That way it'll take us into Christmas and I won't feel like, oh, those pots look too much like fall and I need to swap them out for some more Christmassy things. I mean, we can add some greens around these pansies and they're going to be beautiful. I mean, every winter is a little bit different. If we have a really cold winter, the pansies won't hold up quite as well. The kale will do great. If it's a little bit more on the mild side, the pansies just do great through the winter. We just never really know. But it'll be nice that these colors can do both seasons. So I've got a lot of those two colors in the greenhouse and that's what I'm going to be using everywhere. As we swap pots out for fall, you'll see a lot of the repeat of the same color, which I think is going to be really nice this year. Okay, so now we need to take our two sedum plants out into the south garden, and I've got my auger here. We'll dig some holes and get them in the ground. Oh, they're so gorgeous. I might have to cut that one back because that one's not looking so great. Everything's kind of all bent over. So let's go do it. At least I found the drip tube before I broke it or cut it, but it's running exactly through the spot that I want to dig for the sedum. Of course it is. And remember, sedum do not like fertilizer, so I'm not using any biotone today. Well, other than the fact that that one's all flopped over, they look so pretty right here. I love it. So we've got a Miss Ruby Buddleia right next door. And look at how pretty those two are together. Two different pinks, different tones though, and different structure of blooms. And then we've got the coral berry that have the pink berries. And there's several of them in this, I think 4 in this drift right here. So we've got more pink. We've got the Stand By Me clematis right here, which you can see it's pretty much done blooming, but it's got purple blooms. And this one will still be in bloom when this one is next year. They'll coincide a little bit, which will be great. And then we've got some echinacea and a phlox in there coming together. I think I'm just gonna leave that. I mean, I could cut it back, but sedum usually transplants beautifully in terms of like root development, and I can use these for some cut arrangements here real soon. So we'll cut it back just when we need them for arrangements. Gosh, that's a pretty color. Okay, I put excess soil here. I decided to use my shovel instead of my auger so I didn't make a huge mess. Paul and Bethany did recently mulch in this area, so I wanted to keep it clean. And then we'll clear the rest of the stuff out of here. Then we can go ahead and get our corn stalks all cut. Look at this corn. Oh my goodness. So I go up to about right here on this stalk, right there. Look how much taller it is. It's enormous. And I think that's why we lost some of it to wind. It was just so dang tall, but there's plenty to make some nice bundles, and we'll focus on the ones that are still upright, you know, to make some nice big tall bundles. I'll be making some for here at the house, and then my mom, my brother, and my sister usually come and get some bundles as well. So I'm just gonna make a bunch of bundles, as many as I can from this, but I do want to take all of the ears off before I bundle them up because it just makes them too bulky. And I just wanna show you this. So this one's kind of pastel. You can see some blue, pink, and yellow in that one. Let's grab this one right here. Whoa, look at that. Let me get these into some shade. Oh yeah, look at how beautiful. I like each of them. And I like the fact that they vary so much. I think I pulled about 5 or 6 test ears the other night, and every single one of them was different. So what we're gonna do is just go through and we're going to take all of the ears off first. But you know what I'm noticing? So there's some that have husks that are darker in color. Okay, we gotta check this out here first. I did not pick any the other night that looked like this, so I have no idea what to expect. Let's see how I pull the husks down. We like to try to save those like this off the end. So I'm trying to do it sort of gently. Okay, so that one looks like a blend of these two. A little bit more like orangey in that one, but still some pastel colors, but aren't these beautiful? Line these all up here. So these will dry like this and they maintain their color, and it just adds some extra texture. So pretty. I'm gonna get the kids out here to help me harvest the ears. They were really excited about that part. And once we're done with that, we'll cut all of our stalks and make our bundles. This one has a lot of pink in it. Look at that, they're huge too. Beautiful.
To show you something that we have gotten through the video that you have saw. This is just for now. I'm showing you guys all of this. Look at this one. Kind of just purpley ish.
What's your favorite one, Benjamin?
Probably this one.
That is a beauty.
And just in case we're using these for fall.
Yep. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And you helped with most of these.
Yeah, I really did. So you could text us and tell us what your favorite corn is, red, pink, or yellow or white.
Oh, good
Whatever you want. I'm going inside now.
Okay. See you later.
I was gonna go in 3, but now it's 3:30.
Oh, you gotta tie your shoe. Okay, I'll be inside in a little bit. We ended up with a ton of corn, beautiful color. I can't wait to use it inside. Look at all of these. I mean, just the array of color here. I mean, you go from real creamy looking ones with just a little bit of color all the way to these really saturated ones in the very warm red tones. And then you've got like cool red, like a burgundy color. I love these that have a lot of blue and purple in them, the occasional little yellow there. And I love this one right here. It looks like there's a little like sunburst at the beginning or at the top of each one of those red kernels. And we ended up with some wonky ones too, which honestly, like, that's a pretty color, but we have a pile over here that we're calling the pig pile. All of the extras, like the ones that didn't form up very well, and all of the stalks and everything that we're not using for decorating, they're going to Bethany's pigs. So they will be consumed. And that's this pile right here. And then all of the bent and broken stalks. I have one stalk I need to get my loppers for. I managed with my Falcos on all the rest of them, but that one is so thick. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it was the one on the very end. Look at this. You can see where I attempted with my Falcos, but it's just so tough. And I picked through the whole thing and ended up with one pile of shorter stalks. So from the ones where the stalks were bent, but the tops were still really beautiful, we can use these for containers. In fact, I had one big armful of them and I thought, let me just pop them in this pot quick. I would need to fuss with them and arrange them differently, but you can use corn stalks as a centerpiece and it's so fun. So here's where we're at now. We've got all the corn, we've got it all cleaned. For the most part, I need to go back through and pull more of the silks off. When the kids are helping, I try to focus in on the fun parts of the job, and I do try to have them clean up some of, like the silks and some of the stuff, but I don't want it to get to that tedious point where they lose interest and don't want to do it anymore. So I'll go back through and do the last little bit of the cleanup. There's not a lot, but we've got big piles. There's 1, 2, this is my thickest. There's a whole bunch of stalks right here. 3, and then 4, 5 of the nice big long tall stalks. And what I like to do is gather about 8 to 10 stalks per bundle. Kind of arrange them on the ground, I tie them together, and then I usually lop off all the bottoms at the same length. And I'm gonna keep them all on the tall side so that whoever takes them to their house can leave them as tall as they want, or they could cut them off again and make them shorter if they want, just so that they have some flexibility with height. And I think we'll get between 8 and 10 bundles today. We would have had a lot more had the corn not toppled over. I forgot to mention that I planted the corn seed right at the beginning of June, along with beans and some other things. So that's how long that they've been in the ground. We're mid-September now, so June, July, August. So about 3.5 months from seed to harvest. But every single time I plant corn, it falls down. Except for the one year that we did kind of that little maze-ish garden where the rose garden is now. And the only reason it didn't fall down is because I grew it alongside ranch panels. That kind of buffeted the wind, and it allowed us to tie up the corn if we needed to. But I even planted it in huge blocks. That first year, that we had the cut flower garden just kind of plunked out in the middle of where the big lawn is now. I planted a massive section, and it's still like, I thought that maybe that would help, keep it upright if it was planted very thickly together in a block, and it didn't help at all. So I don't know what the deal is, but either way, I'm really happy with what we got today. So let's get these all bundled up and then we'll be done. Well, we got a lot of corn stalks, 8 big bundles. And you can see I left them tall. Like I said, anybody who takes these, whether they're going here or wherever, you can cut them to size, and you can actually take your string and kind of slide it up the stalks if you want it up higher. But I like to start with them long, that way you have the flexibility. But they're really beautiful. Look at these. We've got 4 sitting on this side, then all of the fruits from all of those stalks, and then 4 on this side. Oh my goodness. And then we've got up here in the front, we've got some of the short stalks, and then of course those right there. And I'm so glad we got this done today. It was kind of weighing on me because I knew that tomorrow we're supposed to get quite a lot of rain, and that probably would have damaged the tassels and would have most likely further pushed them down or knocked them over. So getting at these while they're dry, it feels so good. So what I think I'm going to do so that these maintain their shape, and that's one of the reasons why I love to grow corn. I mean, whether it's ornamental or sweet corn that we're eating, I love to have full looking tassels. When you buy corn stalks elsewhere, I feel like I can never find them that have the nice big full tassels. They've usually been let to like dry laying down, or piled on top of each other, so the tassels are all flat or kind of non-existent, and they just don't look quite as pretty. So I love this look. Got some silk all caught up in that one. But anyway, if we have them leaning against the table in the flower shed, they can kind of dry a little bit down until people can come pick them up. And then I've got to find a couple of big containers to house the little ones, both the ones I popped in that pot and these. So anyway, let's get these set up in the flower shed. Well, they all fit. There's one bundle laying against the drying rack, and then there's another on this side, and then there's 6 kind of ringing around the table. And then all of the short stalks fit in the garbage can that I have in here, which is nice, but they are in there quite tight. So I'll try to figure out what to do with those pretty soon so that they don't dry down completely. It'll be a lot harder to get them apart without ruining them. Much easier to work with them when they're green. But it's nice to have them in a protected area where they're not going to blow over, they're not going to get rained on, and they can just dry down for a little bit right there. And then one last look at all of our corn. So beautiful. And the area where we just worked. Now I did rake up a little bit, not a huge amount, because Aaron will bring his mower through and that'll pick up most of it. And then usually we just come through, and Paul and Bethany actually came out already, you can see, and cleaned up some of the stuff that I left, some of the tops. They basically just filled up Bethany's truck, and then tomorrow they'll probably put more in there, and we just dig out the base of all of these corn stalks. So all of these. And it's usually pretty easy because the soil isn't super hard out here. We work it quite a lot. Also, when we remove the corn, we're going to go ahead and remove all the sunflowers, the beans, the sweet peas, and all of that in preparation for our new boxwood area. So all the ranch panels will come down in this space, and I'm excited for a new look. Thrilled about this. Oh, that is just a picture, isn't it? Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the fall projects today. It felt good to get those little containers done with some things that are just fresher, and I love the way the sedum look out in the garden. That was a good switch, I think. Hope you guys are all having a great day, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.